This is the Book Legion Podcast, where we review thought-provoking books to give our Legionnaires the knowledge they need to dominate the next level of their life.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kevin Diaz back with another episode on the one and only Book Legion Podcast. Happy to spend another day with you, my fellow Legionnaires, as I've got a great book to discuss today for those that are looking to grow their pipeline and get more meetings on your Outlook calendar, Google Calendar, whatever calendar you use. It doesn't really matter to me as long as we fill it up with appointments. That's all that matters at the end of the day. In store today, the book that we're going to be discussing is a book written by Mike Weinberg titled New Sales Simplified. I honestly found it to be a pretty easy read that really allows you to kind of take a step back and revisit the basics of your script or call cadence. For those veterans out there, sales guys have been doing this for a while. It's always good to review your fundamentals from time to time. I know once you're up and running, it can feel like you're just, focusing on existing business and things like that during peak season. And then the next thing you know, New Year starts and you realize that, oh crap, I haven't, prospected in, 2 months, 3 months, because that happens in the insurance industry for sure. Where I work, it can be, that fourth quarter is pretty ridiculous. And for the new salespeople that are out there, this is just a really good book for you to, if you're feeling anxious, first time hitting the phone, this provides a great foundation for you to really gain some confidence and write out that first of all thought out script that you can look at, point you in the right direction as you're starting your sales journey. But first, before we dive into my takeaways of the book, I wanted to give you a pretty brief background on Mike, as he's been a number one producer in 3 different organizations, while also writing 3 number one Amazon best-selling books. Obviously, we're covering one of those today, which is, again, New Sales Simplified. The second book, it's called Management Simplified. And the third book is called Sales Truth. And you can find those on Amazon as well. So diving in, I really appreciated Mike's blunt, but pretty funny, pretty humorous, tell it like it is style, while having this ability to really share simple, practical, very easy to implement concepts that we'll go over. I'm a big fan of the book. I think it's just a great, easy read. Okay. I think everybody should read it. That's in a sales, just to, like I said, touch up some things or get you started in the right direction. So Mike, early in the book, he dives into the most popular reasons as to why salespeople are unsuccessful. And he lists a total of 16 of them. Okay. Lucky for you listening, I'm only going to go over a couple of them. The ones that kind of made the most impact on me. Okay. So the number one might sound shocking, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, but it's that you've never had to prospect before. That's the number one reason why salespeople are unsuccessful, is that they've never had to prospect before, which sounds pretty crazy. But, in my experience, I've come to find out as I see people go through their daily life in the office, right, is that most people, unfortunately, they don't know how to manage their day in a well thought out structure, let alone even know what targets to go after, what goals to put and things like that can put them in that right path. And then there's some high performing reps that are crushing it. And then, they're crushing it because they either were handed this great territory or the product, quotes, sells itself until it doesn't, right? And then they don't know what to do. It's a panic. So you got to be able to learn how to prospect, have that, script written out, know what points to hit, be on top of it, practice. So role playing is so important. At my last job, we did so much role playing every single week that it just felt like once you got to the phone, 8:30 a.m., you felt like a rock star. You felt like I'm ready for any conversation. It was just a great confidence booster. So moving on, the second reason that stood out to me was not being able to tell a sales story, which is so important. Okay. Especially if you're on the phone. Think about the people that you're calling on are getting phone calls all day long, all week long. It can be pretty overwhelming. So if you're not able to really grab the attention of who you're talking to, especially on that initial phone call. That first, I say 15, 30 seconds is so important. And if you're not able to grab their attention, the chances of you falling into that just another product or there's just another company pile increases drastically. And we definitely, want to avoid that. So Mike teaches you how to cultivate that story, really in a manner that makes it about the prospect and not necessarily all about you. Okay. I mean, how many times have you picked up the phone and someone tells you, "Hi, my name is Kevin. I work with this and blah, 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 blah. This is what we do." I'm pretty sure most people hang up, right? No one's a fan of that. So prospects don't care about all the fancy bells and whistles that your company or product offers. At the end of the day, they don't. That ultimately what they want to know is, how can this product, how can this guy call me, how can he help me, help my business, help me make more money. And Mike, achieves that by breaking the sales story into three key components, which is number one, addressing client issues. Okay, before you pick up the phone and you call someone, I'm a believer you should know your client's problems. Really, a true sales professional is going to know the problems that are causing headaches in their respective industry. I'm not a fan of when people call and they ask the prospect, "Hey, what issues are you running into?" Right? That's just seems lazy. You should pick up the phone and say, "Hey, I know you're running into these issues." You're going to come across as a true sales professional, someone that genuinely cares and has vast knowledge in the industry. It's only going to help you. The second portion is how your offerings to them. Mention how your services, like I said, how your services should make them choose you over your competitors. And the third portion is the part where you come in and kind of reinforce who you are, how your products are actually solutions for them, and kind of wrap it up by rather where people usually start talking about themselves. You end it with that, bring it all together. Okay. And the third component is that, or not the third component, but the third takeaway from the book is that Mike really preaches you to be a well-rounded sales professional. It doesn't mean you rely on one phone call or an email or dropping, in-person materials. You should be a well-rounded, a Swiss Army knife of sales. And he calls all these different mediums that you can communicate with your prospects as weapons. Okay, so instead of being a one-trick pony who just calls, right, like I said, or the guy that just sends emails all day and never pick up the phone, you can help your sales cycle explode and ramp up rather quickly by utilizing these different mediums that are available in today's sales world, right? It's not, 1976 anymore. It's 2022. There's so many different ways of hitting up prospects. And he mentions 8 of them. And, of course, not all of them are going to apply to everyone that's listening, but it's important to keep them in mind. Okay. And I'll list them in order. They're number one, it's, networking. Number 2, social media, emails. Number 3, right? Number 4, voicemail. Number 5 is marketing materials that you can, drop off, online marketing tools, white papers, and trade shows. And I think from this list, there's definitely 3 to 4 that you can definitely take away from this list, regardless of what industry that you're in, or maybe a light bulb went off on one of these that you can go to your boss, go to your manager, and maybe have a new game plan that you guys could attack as a team for your business, for your team. Just don't be the guy that's a one-trick pony. I think there's so many of those sales guys out there, and a great way to really differentiate yourself is to kind of hit people from all these different angles, right? One of my favorite quotes from my guy, Greg Cardone is, remember the loudest person in the room is the one that gets the most attention. This is all about attention. And, you should be able to use your weapons wisely. Well, guys, those are my 3 takeaways from New Sales Simplified. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Book Legion. I'll link the book with the Amazon link below in the description. And, don't forget to leave us a review, share with your friends. Thanks for taking time to spend with us today. And until next time, this is Kevin Diaz signing off.